Hello, every pony. This is Phantom Rose 15 coming to bring you a video after some weeks of absence. So, I would have loved to have come back to you sooner. It's been 3 weeks since my last video. Well, no, probably more than 3 weeks. I can't count. Definitely more than 3 weeks. So, about a month. Which I'm very disappointed in myself. I honestly wish I could have gotten here sooner, but family stuff has been going on, and I've had a part, and I had a birthday, so I was busy. I was planning on bringing you on the weekend of the 8th. I was planning on bringing you my Equestria Girls review, because I had a couple of my brony friends over, and I was going to do something cool with them. But I got lazy, and it was my birthday. So, lazy. Oh well, but here I am today, bringing you, I think, maybe the last video of this year. Who knows, maybe I'll do something next week. But I'm still thinking about stuff. But since it is almost Christmas, which is in 3 more days, I decided I was going to bring you my review of the only MLP Christmas episode, Hearth Swarming Eve. Okay, let's get started. So, we start off this episode with the main 6 on a train to Canterlot, because they are going to Canterlot. We don't know why yet. Well, they are. So, we find out that the main 6 are going to be in a Hearth Swarming Eve pageant in Canterlot. They're going to be performing in it. And of course, well, we have the usual antics. Fluttershy is very nervous about everything. Rainbow Dash is excited to be on stage and in front of crowds of people. Rarity is getting everyone ready to go when the main 6 start to fight a bit. And it's like a ridiculous sort of fight too. Like not even a sensible one. Just because a window's open and no one's closing it. It's kind of ridiculous. So, the pageant starts, and Spike is our faithful narrator, speaking in a very odd accent. I don't know what it is, but it's there, and it's a lot, and accents. So we go on finding out that this pageant is representing the founding of Equestria, which is actually a really interesting subject, and I'm glad that they actually really touched on this early on in the show, instead of long later on in it. Like how they're just now getting to talking about how Luna got banished and the stoning of Discord for the first time, turning him to stone. So, as we are going through, we find out that long before Celestia and Luna, the ponies of Equestria, before it was Equestria, were separated into 3 tribes: the Pegasi, the Earth Ponies, and the Unicorns. And that the Earth Ponies would grow food for the Pegasi and the Unicorns, and in turn the Pegasi would control the weather, and the Unicorns would raise the sun and the moon like Celestia does now. So, as we continue on, the play setting that this episode has sort of turns into a somewhat flashback, where the main 6 are substituting the original leaders of the tribes. Rarity being Princess Platinum, and head of the Unicorn tribe, while Twilight is her assistant, Clover the Clever, who is a student of Starsword the Bearded. Pinkie Pie being the head of the Earth Pony tribe, with her assistant, Smart Cookie, who is Applejack. Oh, and Pinkie Pie was Chancellor Puddinghead. And then Rainbow Dash, who is the head of the Pegasi tribe, Commander Hurricane, while Fluttershy is her assistant, Private Pansy. So, as we find out, the leaders, who are Pinkie Pie, Rarity, and Rainbow Dash, are all converging to try and figure out why, for some reason, there's a horrible blizzard going on out. And the Pegasi can't control it, and the Unicorns aren't at fault, and it's lacking, and the weather is making it impossible for the Earth Ponies to grow food. So they're in a food shortage, and they're very, very hungry, and they don't know what to do. So, as you would have guessed, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, and Rarity aren't exactly the best people to be doing this kind of thing in the way of negotiating and making sense with others, especially considering their characters are given the exact same light as well, which is why they were perfect for the jobs. So, as we find out, the three tribes are in such a disagreement and hate each other so much that they can't cooperate on figuring out how to solve this problem. So the leaders of the three tribes, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, and Rarity, all the three decide separately that they are going to go it alone and try and find a new land to call their own. This, of course, leads to Rarity and Twilight as the unicorns making their way out, Applejack and Pinkie Pie making their way out, and Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy making their way out, trying to find a new land. While this goes on, of course, we have the usual set of gags as Rarity riding Twilight over a little stream, Pinkie Pie holding the map to her face, Rainbow Dash fighting a big cloud that happened to look like a dragon, and Fluttershy being scared of it. Applejack's got a snarky attitude, and Twilight is just kind of there. Now, I'm going to talk about Twilight a little bit later, because I think this is interesting, but later. So, as the three tribe leaders make their way around, they each find new lands that are perfect for their tribes, with wonderful weather, lots of gems, and fertile land to grow food. Of course, they didn't notice this until after they planted their flags of victory, but all three of the tribes had found their way to the same land, and the fighting between them started again. But when that did, so did the blizzard that was following them this entire time. All six of them make their way into a cave that's nearby, and of course keep on fighting, drawing lines in the ground, until it escalates so far that the blizzard starts to make its way into the cave, and the three leaders become frozen in ice. So all that's left is Smart Cookie, Clover the Clever, and Private Pansy, aka Fluttershy, Rainbow Applejack, and Twilight Sparkle, who are all the only people left. They, of course, as it turns out, really wish that the three tribes could get along more, and honestly like each other better than they do the leaders of their tribes. So as they're about to freeze, Twilight's horn, or Clover the Clever's horn, is the only thing that ends up staying out of the ice. And it ultimately creates a magical blast that makes a big fiery heart, which I know has been dubbed the Fire of Friendship. Because as it turns out, them three uniting and becoming friends at that last second saved them all from being completely frozen in ice. So as those three made the Fire of Friendship stronger, it melted the ice in the three leaders. Now, the reason that it was so blizzardy, of course, was because of an ancient mystical spirits of sorts known as Wendigos, which I love these. These are actually some pretty interesting villains. Wendigos, being spirits of winter, feed off of hatred sort of like changelings feed off of love, and use that hatred and anger to create violent storms all around them. And the more anger and hatred, the colder and colder it will get. Of course, Twilight Twilight, as Clover the Clever, has said that Star Swirl the Bearded told her about the Wendigos, which begs the question, how did Star Swirl know about these Wendigos when it seems that no other unicorn did? I will get to that later as well. So, as the three tribes learn to love each other for their differences and become friends, they set up a flag which has Luna and Celestia on it, even though that's impossible, and decided they would name the new land, all three of the tribes together, Equestria, which makes sense because equus, or equines, is horses, and then three tribes of Equestria all together in harmony. It makes sense. So then the play ends. Of course, the flashback as well, because the flashback and the play were the same thing at the same time. And we get the main six in the background of the stage, kind of fighting again. But we hear the ominous woo of the Wendigos, and so Rainbow Dash finally closes the windows, because they were open again for no reason. And then we see the fire of friendship above the place where they held the pageant, because as signifying that those 6 at the same time also have the fire of friendship that the 6 from the tribes back then had. Okay, so after reviewing this episode, I've thought of a lot of interesting points. 1, Spike is a fantastic narrator. He really does a good job narrating the entire flashback, even though at times he's kind of odd, like how he goes on and on for a couple seconds about how it's frozen, not nice, it's not nice anymore, but it's frozen, and then that one pony in the crowd's like, we get it, move on. But that's extremely rude. I mean, come on. But Spike was a very good narrator. The accent he used was really confusing me, and I can only imagine why on earth was Spike the narrator. In one story that I read, which was a sequel to Past Sins, where they did, of course, the fanfic Past Sins, which is one of my favorite, where they did the Hearthwarming Eve pageant again, all 6 came back, and Spike was still the narrator, because apparently the narrator who was the guy who was the narrator before Spike was in that first time, retired, and Spike became the new narrator after the play sort of started. Which I think was a good idea. That made some sense. That maybe Spike just happened to get chosen to be narrator because of the fact that the main 6 became part of this Canterlot pageant. Okay, the use of getting to know the history of Equestria through a pageant, and I mean, that was a brilliant idea, that we would get to know exactly how Equestria was formed because of a pageant that they were doing, of showing how Equestria was formed. I think that was a really good idea that they used. So, let's see. One thing, this is getting into serious headcanon territory, and I don't remember where I heard it from, because I know it's not my headcanon. I've heard it somewhere before. It's not my headcanon. But I once heard of this interesting headcanon about maybe Twilight Sparkle was actually in the founding of Equestria. That is, Twilight traveled back in time to meet Starswirl the Bearded and sort of became Clover the Clever. As in, she faked a name and took on the role of being Starswirl's student and eventually came about founding Equestria with the rest of the tribe leaders and their assistants. I mean, some of the odd movements that Clover the Clever did, like freaking out when her hood was off of her head and automatically knowing exactly why the heart was showing up and about the magic and stuff. I mean, it kind of makes some sense. I guess, of course, even if it is a flashback sort of play thing. But it's interesting to think about that, because there's always the possibility that while those 6 did not look like the main 6, they could have possibly have. Maybe that those 6 leaders, not counting Twilight, were actually ancestors to the main 6 now. Which would be interesting, and Twilight just happened to be on a time travel adventure. Which would be epically amazing, and if they could do that in the show, that would be pretty awesome. Twilight on an epic time travel adventure. That would be cool. So then, okay, what? Oh my god, I lost it. I had a good something else to talk about, but I don't remember what it is now. Well, I guess this is gonna be my short episode, because I can no longer think of what to talk about. I should let you know that these are all of my videos so far have been unscripted. I don't make the scripts, I just list stuff that I'm going to talk about. Kind of like how Bernie Curious did before he was really famous and started going by Tommy Oliver again. Kind of how what Tommy Oliver used to do back in the beginning. He just unscripted recordings, which is what I do now. Now, I want to thank all of the people that have subscribed to me in the past couple of weeks, because I've gotten a lot of emails recently saying that I'm getting subscribers, and I'm just over the moon. So anyone that has subscribed to me in the past 3 or 4 weeks, I want to say thank you, because I feel so good knowing that people are actually watching my videos, posting up some comments, and giving and subscribing to me, which is making me feel really, really good. Okay, also, I got a comment from someone a while ago. I don't remember the name, but I got a comment from someone a while ago asking if I could possibly do something different with my OC, like how the other YouTube reviewers do it, where they animate and stuff. I hate to say it, but I don't. Well, I do. At the same time, I don't know a whole lot about computer software animation and such. So, I mean, I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on that. I want these videos to look better. And I think I've said this before, but if there's anyone out there, anyone at all, that would be so kind. It'd be so kind if someone could maybe draw some vectors for my OC, because if I had vectors for her, I'd be able to do a lot better than just, well, one picture for this entire span of the video. So if someone could draw vectors for me of my OC, that would be so awesome. So I guess that's all. Hopefully I will see you as soon as I possibly can. I'm thinking of doing videos for the Trixie arc, aka Ghostbusters and Magic Duel, and I'm also trying to think of some things I could do with CMC episodes. Because, I mean, I've already done Cutie Mark Chronicles, which was great. And, well, just maybe you guys could give me some suggestions on what you want to see. I've already said before that I plan on doing every single episode of MLP, which is why I haven't been doing any of the recent episodes. I'm kind of trying to play catch-up. Of course, I'll be able to do a lot more catch-up if I did more videos, but, well, maybe you guys could give me some suggestions on what you would like me to review next. I'm not going to do Equestria Girls for a while, because I'm going to do Equestria Girls with a couple of my brony friends who are going to come in, and because one of them is someone who really likes the movie a lot more than I do, and the other one doesn't like it as much as me. I'm kind of middle ground. I'm going to do this three-way sort of debate thing, which is going to be really epic. And so give me some suggestions on what you want to see. Who knows, maybe I'll do fan things maybe, or some other stuff. Who knows, maybe one day if I can learn how to use some of the software more, I could do some Let's Plays. Nothing too scary. I'm terrified of scary things. I can't even watch some of the videos that are on YouTube because of it. So anyway, that's all I have to say. This was my review analysis of Hearthwarming Eve. Thank you, everypony, for coming and listening to me ramble. So I will see you guys next time.